Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about why getting into a relationship will not solve all of your problems. So what do I mean by this? Basically guys, you have to understand that people are either assets or liabilities, right? Okay, so understanding that people are assets or liabilities, right? Like let's say you get a girlfriend, right? She's either going to be an asset or a liability. However, right? However, I am of the conviction that a lot of guys, right? You know how we live in this culture of, with OnlyFans and female entitlement and guys putting women on a huge pedestal, that a lot of guys have this sort of fantasy, and it really stems from like Disney and the television and the media that we watch, but they have this sort of fantasy or notion that when they get a girlfriend that, oh, it's all sunshine and rainbows and it's a happy ending and life's gonna be just sunshine and rainbows all the time now and I'm so happy. And guys, I'm here to tell you that to an extent that has some validity, meaning like, okay, like for example, when you get into a relationship with a girl or whatever, and you've been alone for a lot, most of your life or whatever, yeah, it can seem new and exciting for the first few months. And obviously that person may be of benefit to you. Maybe they do some things around the house, maybe they cook, maybe they clean, or maybe they're just that one person you feel like you were looking for, right? However, right, I think that a lot of guys, and I know back when I used to be a teenager, I used to have this notion that I just want to find that one girl and then my life's going to be easy, or my life's going to be better and this and that, right? And being in a relationship for, going on almost a year now, I can say that, yeah, guys, like being in a relationship is nice. Having someone you can connect with and share love with is very, it's very empowering and it's very cool. But you have to understand that as a man, right? Think about it. Like women have hypergamy, meaning like, hey, like they're always sizing you up, meaning like, hey, is this guy able to provide? Does he look like he's in shape? So in the event that, he can protect me, right? So basically coming from that perspective, coming from that lens, you have to basically internalize that and understand that just because you have a girlfriend or just because, you feel like your life's good now doesn't exempt you from, continuing to improve, continuing to better your body, continuing to, make more money, continuing to learn things, continuing to just advance, become just better in general. So you have to really internalize that and understand that, great, I'm in a relationship with a girl, but when you understand that you always have to improve, you always have to continue to be better, it helps you basically not put her on a pedestal like you once thought that you could do, basically, and get away with, right? Because think about it. Okay, let me give you a scenario. Let's say you're 17, 18 years old, you're just a kid, right? You're in school and you have a crush, everyone likes her, and basically like you get her, you approach her, you get her number, and you're her girlfriend, like you become her boyfriend now. You guys go out, everything's cool and great. Guys, coming from that place of like, oh my God, she's so amazing. Oh my God, everyone loves her, da da da, she's so beautiful, right? That's cool, but think about it, right? Coming from that place, you're already putting her as your biggest like goal. You're kind of putting her as your main focus, right? And women find that very distasteful. They find that very unattractive. Why? Because when you put her as your number one, that's very low value behavior, right? That shows that kind of in her hindbrain is telling her, hey, this guy doesn't, okay, for one, he doesn't have any other options. I'm obviously his number one option, right? Or number two, or both, one or both, he doesn't have a major purpose. He doesn't have anything else he's striving towards. He's not making money. He's not self-improving. He's not pursuing anything outside of obviously the relationship, right? So understanding that, it's almost like the roles are reversed in the sense that he's the woman and she's the man, right? So you have to understand that you always have to improve. You always have to be on your P's and Q's, and that you have to understand that life is always going to be hard. It doesn't matter if you have a girlfriend, right? Now, of course, she can make your life easier, meaning like, hey, she can assist you, right? Like, let's say you come home, you want to work on your business, you want to work out, or you want to do something that's not, obviously related to house duties like cleaning or cooking. She can handle that, right? Like if you have a housewife type of girlfriend, sure, she can handle that and be an asset in that way. But as far as like the theme of your life switching, meaning like, hey, like now I can get lazy. Now I don't have to work out as much. Now I can chill on the couch and watch Netflix more. And guys, that's what happens. You don't realize it, but a lot of guys, like once they get into a relationship or once they get comfortable or once they like feel like, damn, like this is it, I got her, like I'm good now, they start to get lazy. And then that's when the girl, right, she starts to back away because she feels like he's losing his frame, he's losing his core, and then she starts being repelled by that, and then now she's not she's not as emotionally attracted to you, she's not as loving towards you, she's not as affectionate, and you're like, wait, what the fuck happened? Like when we started out, everything was cool, everything was good, and then now all of a sudden she's not returning my texts, she's taking longer to reply. She's not wanting to hang out with me as much. She may be denying sex, right? So there's a lot of signs you can tell. You can basically see that a girl is losing attraction for you. And it all stems from, right, like I said earlier, getting comfortable, being lazy, putting her as your number one priority, right? So I think that guys get I think guys get the mistake that once they get a girlfriend that life can be, you can basically be on cruise control now because, oh, I found the girl, like, and in a sense, like it's, from a very like relative perspective of human survival and reproduction, your brain is basically telling you once you get into a relationship and you're dating for a little bit, your brain is basically telling you like, hey, we're good. We just, we basically like, I mean, of course, if you have a kid, that's different, obviously. When you have a kid, that's like the physical manifestation of you two coming together and reproducing. So in your mind, you're like, wow, I just did what I was put here to do, propagate and continue the human species, right? But there's a sense that like, once you get into a relationship, I feel like your hindbrain, your monkey brain tells you like, yeah, you can kind of chill. You don't have to work as hard or whatever, right? So I just want to be the bearer of not so bad news, but just be honest, brutally honest with you guys and tell you that, the truth is that even if you're in a relationship, females have hypergamy. And that's what most guys don't understand, that hypergamy is basically her brain looks like scanning the environment to look for the best possible mate that she can find. So if you're not, you may not be making the most money right now, but are you in the process of doing that? You might not be in the best shape right now, but are you in the process of doing that? Guys, you got to understand that as long as, for the most part, if your girl has hundreds and, thousands of options, that's different. But if your girl is like, maybe she's a 6 or a 7 and you're at, maybe an 8, and as long as you're self-improving, as long as, like I said, obviously you want to make more money than her, you want to be, like, for example, if you're an 8, she should be a 6 or a 7, right? Because the polarity is different, right? So as long as you're improving, as long as you're, staying steadfast with your workouts, with your, with your business or your career or whatever, as long as you're slowly improving, you're going to be fine. But like I said, guys make the mistake of getting into a relationship and then just kind of going on cruise control, and then they lose the attraction because they're not the guy they were when she first met him. So guys, you have to internalize that and understand that, like I said, it's not something like she might even be doing it unconsciously. Like, hey, like that's just her monkey brain, and it's letting her know like, yo, like if this guy is not doing what he's going to do, I'm not safe. Because you got to understand, guys, women are vulnerable. So in the fact that they're vulnerable, they have to find protection and provisioning, right? So if you're being a bum, if you're getting lazy, if you're getting fat, well, eventually, right, you're on a slow path to destruction, right? If you're continuously being lazy, and then she's gonna pick up on that, and she's gonna eventually leave if you don't get your shit together, right? And that's what women do, right? You guys probably know the stat that they initiate 70 to 80% of the divorces because, you know, for the most part, guys just get lazy, they get complacent, right? And like I said, I think we would mitigate that number. That obviously, you know, they're going to initiate divorces regardless because there's other reasons, right? But I'm just saying we could probably get that number down to 50%. You know, if we spread awareness in the sense that, hey, like, you have to understand what females are designed to look for, right? And if you don't meet those requirements, or in the event that you stop meeting those requirements, you know, maybe you were in the beginning, but, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, you just progressively get lazy, you know, you're not making as much money and you're staying the same and you're not improving, then she's gonna leave, right? And you have to understand that it's not her fault because, hey, look, she has, you know, needs, right? And if you're not meeting those needs, you know, primarily protection and provisioning, right? Money, and, you know, money obviously correlates with provisioning and providing. And then protection, you know, if you're not in shape, or you don't, you know, look like you can commit violence, or you don't have, you know, a skill to fight, or you don't own a firearm, or you're not, you know, competent in any of that in that regard, then yeah, she's gonna look at you like, dude, like you gotta stop, or you gotta figure it out, or I'm gonna go. So it's not, like I said, it's not them. You just have to understand that's biology. That's how they're hardwired. And, you know, it's not something that you should look at as evil, or, oh, that's, you know, very crude, or that's, oh, she doesn't love me for who I am. No, that's just how it is, right? Humans are very, whether we like to admit it or not, we're transactional. Every relationship is transactional, right? And, you know, I think we get the sense that, you know, humans are unconditionally loving, and that's true to an extent in some people, but guys, for the most part, we have biological needs, we have survival needs, and if we're not helping each other, you know, in the sense of the dynamic of man and woman, if we're not helping each other, then we're not going to exist, we're not going to be able to relate to each other and be in successful relationships. So I think we have to just bring awareness, especially for men, we have to just bring awareness to the fact that women have needs, and if you don't meet them, you're gone. Vice versa as well, right? I'm not picking on guys here, but hey, women, in the sense of, hey, if you're dating a guy who's, you know, successful, or he makes a lot of money, right? And you don't meet your end of the road, basically you're not, you know, you're not helping out with the kids, or you're not cleaning, or you're not cooking, or you're not, you know, being an asset in any way, then he's gonna be gone too. So like I said, I mean, I'm talking mainly to the guys here, but both genders have, you know, both sexes have things that we have to come to an understanding of, basically, to you know, have relationships work, right? Because like I said, it's a beautiful thing when, you know, the dynamic is rightly ordered and things just kind of flow naturally, right? And if we bring understanding to that, then we can bring that to fruition in the world, right? And obviously, you know, we don't have to have a 70 to 80% divorce rate. We can maybe get that down to below 50%, you know, so we're not, you know, all lonely and sad. Because I don't know, I also think now, I mean, you could argue with social media, but we're the most lonely and sad. Like, I think, I don't know, I read somewhere that there's like women reported like being the most lonely, like ages 18 to 25 or something. They reported being like the most lonely or something. I don't know, I read it somewhere. And then also, you know, 1 in 3 guys between ages 18 and 30 has only had sex once in the past year, right? So it's like, we're getting like away from each other. And I think if we can, you know, understand what each other wants, what each gender wants from the other, or each sex wants from the other, and we can meet those requirements, then we'll be better off, right? You know, I'm not saying that, you know, there's other little things that can affect the relationship. Of course there are. But in general, the big picture, I think if we find these things and you know, meet them, then things will be good, right? So yeah, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave it down below, and I will do my best to get back to you. As always, I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.